each other. Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio here on the Voice of Liberty. Number for you to call after the first break, 585-346-3000. And I feel like sometimes I keep talking about the same thing sometimes. And maybe I am. But I feel like this keeps coming back again and again. And that is what is happening right now in New York State and New York City. For those of you who, if you're listening right now and you might go, Larry, I thought you live in Queens, right? I do. I live in Queens, New York. And not just that. Zohran Mamdani is my assemblyman. I accept your condolences. And AOC is my congressperson. Again, I accept your condolences. I literally live in the belly of the beast. I live on the front lines here in New York. And a point where when they run for office, they win so demonstrably that there's no reason for them to even try. Now, what I always try to do when it comes to those two people is I try to give credit where credit is due. And here's where I will give credit. When AOC first ran, she really busted her rump for that seat. That was not just given to her. She worked hard. Her team knocked on my door, literally, like they worked for that seat. Okay, I will give you that. Well done. Since that, I'm not sure I'm gonna say she's got that same work ethic, I would say, in the neighborhood. And not just that, I'm not sure if she's even achieved what she said she was going to achieve. Whether I'd want it or not isn't the point. And if you know me well enough to know that even if I disagree with what a politician says, if they're going to run on something, they should do it. Absolutely, they should do it. Right? One of the things I liked about Trump when he first started is that he was doing what he said. Oh, okay, even though I wouldn't always like everything, didn't matter. He said it. He did it. I'm in. AOC was supposed to do a lot of stuff. She didn't really do it. That's an issue. Okay, that's AOC. You might go, wait a minute. So that means that she's going to have a problem running, Larry, because she didn't, commit. She didn't do what she said. So now the electorate's going to punish her, right? No, not at all. Where I live in New York City, it is 6-1 Democrat to Republican. There is literally no chance of her losing the election. None. And there are people who run against her. Tina Forte, a friend of mine, love her. She ran against her. And more, Tina, if you haven't been listening, well done. More power to you. But you are fighting a monster. You're fighting a monster. You're fighting a 6-1 monster. I get it. And kudos to you for fighting. Being realistic, you're fighting a monster. And a big, not even a monster, a machine. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. You're fighting a machine. When it comes to Mamdani, the Republicans don't even bother running anybody. No one runs. He wins 99-1. The 1% is write-ins. So they're always winning. Why do I bring this up? Because you might be thinking to yourself, do these guys really think they can win higher office? Does Mamdani really think he can win mayor? Yes. Does AOC really think she can win governor or senator or president, whatever bigger? Yes. Of course. They've had victory after victory after victory. Why wouldn't they think they can win again? There are rumors now that AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, my congressperson, is going to run for either president or senator. Those are not confirmed. Those are rumors. I think they're real possibility. I think they are. Why? Because she's had victory after victory after victory. Why wouldn't she run for something like that? It makes sense. Her team has watched her win. Her donors have watched her win. Even though she hasn't done what she said, they've still watched her win again and again and again, and basically have no real competition at any other level. And because no competition, as you hear me say all the time, does she have to even try? No. If you listen to this show and you lean left and you'd rather have Democrats in than Republicans, okay, welcome to the show. Glad you're watching. The reality of it is, if you are that, you're still unhappy. And I don't have to know who you are specifically. I know you're still unhappy. Why? You're a New Yorker, which means you're unhappy. Why? Because in New York, the Democrats run everything so thoroughly, there's no real competition. They do whatever they want. The establishment is actually who wins, not Democrats. The establishment wins. So the people who are just sitting around going, I wish Democrats would do what I want them to do, are still wishing. Now, if you lean right or Republican, of course you're unhappy. They don't care what you think at all. Democrats told you to get up and leave the state already more than once, so you're ready to go. Doesn't matter. But either way, we are all unhappy. And that's the piece I'm bringing up. We're all unhappy. Why do I bring that up? Because we are so unhappy in New York State, we're looking for anything. Just somebody who will do something, somebody who will take some action. In walks Zohran Mamdani. You might go, that guy, not him. Yes, him. Because whether you like him or not, you think he's good or bad, whatever you might think about him, clearly I'm not a massive fan, obviously, isn't the point. The point is, he is doing something, he has a plan, and he is at least something. And you will hear that, at least. I remember years ago, there was a comedian, funny comedian on stage, one of those stand-ups, I forgot which one it was, and she said, for me to date a guy, he's got to have at least. And everyone's like, what? Yep, got to have at least. Okay, what's at least? This is her joke, right? She goes, well, he may not be rich, but at least he got a job. Okay, so that's the at least. He doesn't have the best car, but at least he ain't riding the bus, right? That kind of thing. That's what she was talking about, right? That was the at least. And you might go, well, that doesn't sound like so great. Yeah, that is what most New Yorkers are thinking, particularly New York City voters. They're going, well, at least he'll do something. Maybe I'll get free buses, something. That's how they're thinking. This is not healthy for us. This is not healthy for New York City. It's not healthy for New York State because it goes across the state, because now here comes AOC. It's 2028 or whatever. And she says, you know what? I want to run for senator. You might go, she can't run for senator. She's in New York City. That's impossible, whatever. She can't take Gillibrand's seat. Gillibrand's upstate or whatever. I mean, she is, but she's not. But anyway, besides the point. She can't do that. First off, why wouldn't she think she could? And she has one massive advantage. She got to at least. That's what she's got. At least she's not the establishment. At least she's not Chuck Schumer. If you look right now across the Democratic Party, none of them are happy with their leadership. I mean, obviously, if you lean right, you can't stand leadership, but that's normal. We know that. I'm saying average rank and file Democrats who vote for who they think is going to give them the best they can get, who believe in that, who think that's the right answer. I'll get this thing and whatever, free buses, whatever. They're not happy. They hate their leadership. They can't stand the fact that Trump is still as popular as he is. They can't stand it. They wish everybody hated him and he would have to resign. And that's what they wish. That's what they wish. Well, that's not true. So they want someone who'll do something. Mamdani says he will. Back in 2020, Biden said he would. He denied it, but I'm saying they said they would. As you hear me say often, Democrats usually have better rhetoric than Republicans. Theirs sounds a whole lot nicer. Think about it. You're a Democrat. You're getting free buses. That sounds great. Freezing your rent. That sounds amazing. Republicans have tough spot beating that one when it comes to rhetoric. Now, outcomes, different story. But the rhetoric is pretty good. So now here comes AOC. She's got to at least. She does. And if Republicans or establishment Democrats can't find the answer to the at least, she's going to win. If establishment Democrats or Republicans can't find an answer to Mamdani's at least, he's going to win. The reality of it is, answers to at least is the way we as New Yorkers, we as Americans, stop this. If we don't have an answer to the at least, they're going to win again. And we are going to have a Senator AOC or maybe a Governor Mamdani one day. I know some of you just threw up in your mouth a little bit. I know you did. I'm sorry. I should have warned you. My mistake. Trigger warning. Sorry, trigger warning. I'm going to say some terrible things. And we might have a President AOC or something. That stuff could happen. We have to have answers. And often we don't. The establishment just says, whatever, I'm going to win either way. I'm going to keep getting my money. I'm getting paid. Deep state's winning. Deep state wins. Permanent Washington wins. Whatever. We'll deal with it. And here's the thing they also know, and this is the problem that also is going to hurt us. They believe that guys like Mamdani and people like AOC, that once they get deep in the swamp and deep state, will turn them too. Okay, he's got some talk about this free stuff. We'll fix that. We'll put him right back in line. We'll stop him, hold him, push him, and we'll all of a sudden make that peace that they were talking about. Lots of talk. And the Democrats are like, yay, we got a fighter. And they don't. And then, of course, Republicans will win something. And Democrats will go, oh, good, Republicans won again. Now we can blame them for everything. Which, again, that's one of their skill sets. I mean, everything that happens in the world is Trump's fault. We all know that. So they're good at that. So then that'll happen. And that's okay. The funny part is, if we don't have an answer, the establishment has no reason to have an answer. And people will always be desperate. Desperate people fight each other. Desperate people do desperate things. And when desperate people do desperate things, then we can arrest and blame. And we can make more laws and take more power and do more things that all of us can't stand. So to answer my question, are AOC and Mamdani the future of New York? Do you have an answer? If you don't have an answer, if I don't have an answer, yes. If you have an answer, no. I hope you have one. If you have one, you can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, on the Voice of Liberty. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
For the last couple of years, Joe Robach has been telling you about Flower City Collision in Henrietta, saying that it was started by a veteran along with his son, Zach. Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and I am that veteran. I want to thank the WYSL listeners for their support over the last couple of years. During those years, not only have I experienced the gratification of providing you the best repairs and customer service, it has also allowed me the opportunity to see my son develop as a young professional. So remember, Flower City Collision for your collision repair needs. And thank you for supporting our locally owned family business.
Donald Trump and conservatives may have won, but you know the left will unceasingly try to undermine society and spread evil, targeting the innocent and God-fearing, especially our children. Help promote a truth-based society and try something different in 2025. The WYSL stations can grow your business, professional practice, or organization, so allocate your ad dollars here. Reach our huge audience, entertained, inspired, and informed by leading conservative thought. Affordable, effective. The WYSL stations, the voice of liberty. Call 585-346-3000 to advertise.
Hey, if you like history and you like airplanes, the National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, New York is the place to go. Tours, exhibits, events, vintage aircraft, and more. Visit nationalwarplanemuseum.com for more details.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes. Larry Sharpe is back on Sharpe Radio, the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number. I have been chatting about Zohran Mamdani, AOC. It looks like people who are maybe the future of the Democratic Party. And right now, if you've noticed, Democratic Party is really run by New Yorkers. It's run by New Yorkers. The most popular people are New Yorkers. The leadership is from New York. It's run by New Yorkers. So if they are the future of the Democratic Party, are they the future of New York? I think it could be. We grab a couple comments if I could. Patty says, there was a bad fire next door to us yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. No one asked who you voted for. They just helped. Political parties didn't matter. Just helping those in need did. The USA needs more of that. I'll go one step further than that, Patty. The world needs more of that. But this goes back to my concept constantly, which is localization matters, right? That's the issue. Localization matters. We're losing community, as you know. I'm preaching to the choir when I tell you, Patty. We're losing community. And as we lose community, this becomes an odd thing almost, right? And I don't want it to be that. I want it to be the norm everywhere. It doesn't have to just be when someone next door has a problem. Anyone in your community has a problem. We should be stepping up. That's the answer. We should be stepping up. So thank you for that. Mike Voss is in the chat. He says, sadly, Dems have no good choices, and socialists like DSA thinks that means they are popular and winning. Reality is all are suffering. Well, those two things aren't necessarily apart, right? Them being popular and winning and us suffering can both be the same. They can both be true. And to be forward, I think they all are true. And I'm not sure which comes first. If you get my point here, if we get more people like that in power, things will be bad. But the reason why we get people like this in power is because things are bad. So it's kind of chicken and egg, Mike. It's kind of both and, right? Or which one's first? I'm not really sure. But as always, I try to give people credit where credit is due, whether I agree or not, because we need to understand. We need to understand why people are doing what they're doing. Remember, most people, Republican or Democrat, are not bad people. Patty's point is exactly the right point. Most people aren't. But when it comes to politics, we tend to become tribal, and we follow our leaders who we trust and believe in, which the only one you trust and believe in is me. The rest don't. Only me, Mike. Nobody else. So I'm teasing. But no, I'm not. Anyway, my point being, we start to believe in these leaders, and many of these leaders, they really are bad. Do I think that Mamdani is a bad guy? I don't. I know him, Mike. You know, I've met him. I've had him on my show. You know, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's wrong. I think he's misguided. And I think he's listened to socialist leaders who've given him stories that make sense to him. And my example is always Thomas Sowell. I'm a huge Thomas Sowell fan. He is one of, if not the best currently living libertarian thinkers in the country. And he used to be a Marxist. Why? Because when he was in college, that's what he thought was the right thing. Why? Because with his experience and his knowledge that he had at that time, Marxism made sense to him. Yeah, he knew stuff was wrong. Stuff's bad. Oh, these guys have answers. Must be them. Then he goes off to another college and he meets Milton Friedman and he starts going, wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong. But that didn't turn him. That made him think. He said, maybe I'm wrong. Then he went and worked for the government and he became a libertarian. He worked for the Department of Labor. That's a true story. So I think Mamdani is that guy. I think he can be turned. I don't think he's mean. I think he's just wrong. And we have to understand that. And I think most socialists in America, average foot soldier, I think most of them are just wrong. I don't think they're bad. Now, do they do bad things? Yes. But we can punish them after option one, which I'm saying we shouldn't. But I'd rather do option two, which is convert them before they do something bad. I work on that. I work on option two. I would like to turn them before they do something bad. That is my goal. And if any of you saw my interview with Mamdani, I did give him other options and ideas to think about. That's what I did. We chatted back and forth. I gave him other options to think about because I'm hoping in the future we can turn him. That's my hope. I could be wrong. I hope we can. That is my hope. The next piece I bring up, Mike, is the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. They are very organized. And I hate to say it. I don't like that that's true, but it is true. So I have an option. I can be mad at them. That's option one. I'd rather not do that. I can instead counter-organize, which is what I keep trying to do. Right? They organize, we organize better. That's what I'd rather do. That is my goal. So thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. Your mayor says, Larry for governor of New York. Thank you. Yes. Kim says, Larry for the sharper governor. Ooh, that's a sharper governor. I like that. Kayjon says, Larry for governor of New York. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Mike isn't done. Mike has most of to say. He says, Mamdani is massively bad. A catastrophe ticking down to explode. Well, let me give a little pushback on that, Mike, a little bit. I think it was already ticking before him. He might be a quicker fuse. I would buy that. But I think it was already happening. I think it really began in earnest. I mean, it kind of went back and forth, but it really started going during de Blasio and the lockdowns. That's when it just went boom, fast, right there. That's when anybody could see it. That's when it was so obvious.
Craig.
Screaming. And with that in mind, I think now he comes in and maybe it gets worse. Adams was almost just like a holding. I don't know. Was he like a Band-Aid or so? He's just kind of hanging on. That's it. And now Mamdani comes in and finishes it. So let me grab a call if I could. This is Craig. Craig, how are you, sir?
Hi, I'm not too bad. How are you, Larry?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on?
Well, I mean, so 2 points here, which is you always talk about how everything that starts in New York goes to your state, your town, your county.
Yep.
So you have AOC that started in New York. She's about to be running for president. You've got Trump, who is the president. You have all the terrible ideas. There's no arguing the point. It happened.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the first point. Will people recognize that? The second point is we have this red wave that's supposedly going to hit this state and has been going to for the past 20 years. And we're literally about to elect the most socialist person ever in New York City. What's it going to take for people to recognize that? How much do we have to see before people see the writing on the wall?
It's a great question. And when I don't stop saying, I know there are lots of people who think, well, the Democrats are so bad that then we'll vote in a Republican senator or Republican governor or Republican AG. No. As bad as Democrats are, the answer for most New Yorkers was go further left. You're exactly right. The answer wasn't go Republicans. Remember, we have a decade of New Yorkers who've been told that Republicans are bad. They're just bad. You can't vote for one of them. They're bad. Recent polling shows that when you go through all New Yorkers, now let me be clear. New York is a red state. That's true. But it has deep blue dots throughout it that make it a blue state. Overall, the state's red. No doubt. You look at most of the areas outside of the cities, they're red. But we have big blue dots. And let's go. It's New York City. It isn't just New York City. It's Rochester. It's Buffalo. Utica. It's all of them. Albany. Ithaca. We're all deep blue. That's what's changing. I will cover your point. I'm up against the break, Craig. Hope you can stay on. Guys, I'm going to cover that. You want to hear it? Stay with me. You want to call and ask yourself a question or call me ask me a question? 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, talking about New York State on the Voice of Liberty. Back with more of your calls and your chat after the break.
Craig is hanging on the line. You're welcome. God bless America.
WYSL.
Avon, Rochester, WLEA, WLEA-FM, Hornell, New York. Canisteo Valley Update.
The incoming class of Alfred State College reached 1,493 full-time new students this year, the largest since 2010. Even though high school graduation figures are decreasing, says Enrollment Vice President Keyshawn Zuber, is because Alfred State provides a high-quality education grounded in applied learning across every program. Steuben County residents with any questions about their STAR checks can find answers to those questions. The School State Tax Relief for STAR program provides property tax relief to eligible New York homeowners. According to State Department of Taxation and Financial officials, general timelines for the mail-out of checks have been posted on their website. And September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. This year's theme, One Card, Endless Possibilities. Visit your local public libraries for more information or to sign up for a card of your own today. For the Voice of Liberty, I'm Barb Lehman.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Showers and maybe a rumble of thunder, some beneficial rain at times through the overnight. Temperatures will stay in the 60s on Tuesday. Bit of rain in the morning. We'll try to clear up in the afternoon. High in the low 70s on Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Maybe a sprinkle or two. Some rain looks to return for Thursday. I'm Rich Cornelia for the Voice of Liberty.
They're stretching the summer fun on and off-road at Dansville Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Franklin Street near the airport, where they're featuring the 2025 Jeep Wagoneer S Limited SUV. Just $99 a month for 24 months, must have conquest. And check this. A new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo SUV is only $299 a month for 24 months with lease loyalty. A 2025 Ram 1500 Crew Cab pickup is only $369 a month for 42 months with lease loyalty. And save big on a Dodge Charger RT Daytona. Only $69 a month for 24 months, must have conquest. All lease deals require $2,500 down except Ram at $3,500 down, 7,500 miles per year except Ram, 10,000 miles. First payment DMV taxes and fees due at signing. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Hornell, Wellsville, Angelica, Arkport, and Canisteo. Come shop these and other hot summer deals at Dansville Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Franklin Street near the airport.
Your go-to standard of specialized business insurance coverage. MGM Associates of Rochester, now serving the region and beyond in New York. Since 1984, MGM has provided leading coverage from a wide range of carriers. Not only home, condo, boat, motorcycle, and auto, but also specialized policies for all types of businesses, including nonprofits and law firms, livery insurance, property insurance, and bonds for all needs. MGM Associates of Rochester provides auto, workers' comp, healthcare, and liability coverage. Choose from virtual appointments or good old in-office, in-person consults by appointment at our Penfield office. Now 7-time winner of the National Best Practices Award, MGM is proud to support veterans groups. For your personal, business, home, or professional insurance needs, meet the experienced staff at MGM Associates, locally and proudly owned at 1745 Penfield Road in Penfield, 381-7008 or mgminsured.com. An associate of Chautauqua Patrons Insurance, 523 West 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York.
Are you new to town and resorting to big box stores and online shopping to revamp your home? Get big city experience and unlimited options at Decorator's Choice in Hornell. We offer the largest selection of flooring in the area with installation. From custom furniture and window treatments to Benjamin Moore paints and products, our design team will create your dream space. Shop your entire sleep system with our split head and traditional mattresses, offering bedding and pillow lines for your best night's sleep. Decorator's Choice has everything you need to revamp your space. Visit our showroom at 37 Seneca Street in Hornell and like us on Facebook.
Dreaming of a new kitchen or bathroom? The time to act is now. At Lima Carpet and Flooring in Avon, we're running a huge sale on all kitchen and bath designs. Our team of expert designers is ready to help you create the space you've always wanted at prices you won't believe. Whether it's sleek, modern, or a cozy classic feel, we'll design it your way. Call 585-226-2180 or visit limacarpet.com to book your free consultation today. Lima Carpet and Flooring, Route 15 in Avon, stunning designs on beatable prices.
WYSL.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
Most people say, I found God
I look back and say, God was never lost. I was. I don't want to get back what I lost. I just want to be the best.
So after Craig, we'll have another call. Keith.
Go to opendoormission.com.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number. Before the break, I was talking with Craig about Republicans in New York State and how the party is in a bad spot. It's obvious it is. And the reason is numbers, right? Look, if you like a Republican in your local race, you should vote for him or her. Absolutely. Republicans win locally all the time. As I mentioned, the state itself is a red state. The problem is the deep blue cities throughout the state. And people often say, well, if we just got rid of New York City, you can get rid of New York City if you want to, and the state's still blue. That's how blue the state is. Every one of you listening now either is considering leaving or knows someone who is if you live in New York State. They're leaving. 300,000 every single year. The state's almost 3-1 Democrats, Republican, and there are more independents than there are Republicans. In a statewide election, that ship has sailed. We are becoming as bad as Nebraska or Utah. In the reverse, Utah and Nebraska are about 3-1 or 4-1 Republican to Democrat. The opposite. The last two statewide elections they had for Senate, the Democrats didn't bother running a candidate. I'm not joking. They didn't even run a candidate. Literally for Senate, did run a candidate. So what I'm saying here is New York Republicans cannot win a statewide election. This state will go independent before it will go red. And that makes some people unhappy, but it's still true. It's still an accurate statement. Does that make sense, Craig?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I just don't know how to, especially with the things going on nationally now, where you are seeing people move to the right every day. And
yep.
I feel like it's the whole logic thing is not going to get to people. It's the feels. It's like, no, it's on our side, the movement and this and that. And I don't know how to reach people and make that point land. The point. Go ahead.
Saying it. We keep saying it. How long have I been doing this, Craig? Years.
Oh,
I
know.
Saying it. We keep saying it. That's it.
I think I put just one last point. I think a powerful thing, and if anyone is struggling with the same thing as Larry and I are, there's a graphic that shows the percentages of voters in New York State, and it shows half as Democrat, shows quarter as Republican, and it shows the rest as independent. That's a really powerful visual there, just to show how little power they actually have.
Maybe we need some more visuals. I like that. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I think Craig's got a point. I mean, look, again, locally, Republicans win all over. Happens all the time. They even win in New York. We've got a couple Republicans here in Staten Island. They win in New York City. They do. But statewide, look at New York City. New York City, 6-1 Democrats, Republican. I know Curtis Lewa. He's a good guy, and he's getting crushed in the polls. Why? Just aren't enough Republicans in the city. The numbers aren't there. That's the issue. Let me grab another call if I could. This is Keith. Keith, how are you, sir?
To say I'm probably fed up with everyone. Here's an irony and maybe an answer to Craig's last question. Conservatives like me say libertarians are too Democrat, while the socialists who will not vote libertarian think you're too Republican.
True.
How does that sound?
I think you're right. And that's my hope here is, look, am I going to get the person who's a hardcore socialist to vote for me? Probably not. I mean, some might, because they might think that Mamdani is going to sell out. They might think Mamdani is going to become like a corporate Democrat. I think some could, but I think that percentage is very small. I think you're right. Could an independent get people who are conservatives to vote for them just because they know it's kind of lesser of two evil types. It's better than the Democrat and Republican can't win. Maybe I think that can happen. But there's another piece. There's a betrayal piece. What do I mean by that? The average Republican or conservative in New York State is very often disappointed in the results of the Republican Party. I get why. They're not winning, they're not making impact. But the average Democrat is also unhappy with the results of the Democratic Party because they don't care their establishment, do whatever they want. So I think there's also a rebellion piece. And to be forward, and I think you probably remember this, Keith, there was a lot of that brought Trump aboard in 2016. There were a lot of people who just thought, Trump's a rebel, I don't care. He's going to shake things up. He's going to change things. And he got a bunch of people who voted for him just because of that. I think an independent could get that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would vote that way if the person really leaned conservative. I know other conservatives might just stay away. I want to bring up two fast points. You mentioned Utah, Nebraska, with their 3-1 Republican majority. Politely, that really doesn't mean anything. We've had rhinos come out of both of those states. Republicans should be careful. Utah, the beehive state, and also, of course, Mormon, and Nebraska, the Cornhuskers. I mean, they've had some real turncoats there recently, real softy Republicans. So Republicans should not get too snide that those two states could go purple. And what's killing New York has been for decades is a culture of dependence. We now have a certain large enough percentage of New Yorkers, at least 20% and probably larger, who are on the government teat. When you get that kind of long-lasting dependency, you just can't break people away from government. That's what's killing New York. New York is no longer the Empire State because so many people are beholden to state government and other government programs. Until that's turned around, New York and all the other blue states remain a loser.
Let me grab both of those pieces, Keith. The first one, you said that kind of like rhinos come out of those states. Of course, that's literally my point. The Republicans don't have to be Republicans because it's 3-1, 4-1. The party wins every time. That's how you get bad candidates. Similar to New York. Kathy Hochul's a terrible candidate, even for Democrats. She's bad, period. Even Democrats don't like her. It doesn't matter. As long as the establishment gets her to the top, she wins. Your points are exactly my issue. When you have one party dominating, even Republicans in Nebraska are unhappy because the party doesn't have to put up an actual Republican. They put up anybody who will help them grift well. They're going to win no matter what. Competition is good, period. So I'm agreeing with you, and I'm explaining why those kind of people come out of Nebraska and Utah. That's the reason why. The second piece, dependency. You are on the money, my friend. Over 50% of New Yorkers are either Medicare or Medicaid. We have tons of New Yorkers who are dependent upon a state. How am I going to get someone to go, hey, vote against that check you're getting? That's a hard sell, Keith. That's a hard sell. I got to have an answer. And that was my point from earlier. If I don't have an answer, they go, well, with Kathy Hochul, at least I get a check. Well, with the Dems, at least I get a check. Your point is on the money. And we have to have good answers, or they're going to vote for the check. It makes sense.
Well, I'll say in closing, you, sir, are very good. I don't hand out false compliments. You, Mr. Sharpe, are very good. Hang in there, and thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think these are valid points. The issues that we have to work on. How am I going to say, hey, Phil, vote for me? You might not get your check anymore. You're like, wait a minute. I like my check. I think I'm going to vote for the other guy. At least they got a check. But if I can show Phil some hope for the future, if I can show him how he can go do his own thing and still get the money he needs or have the job that he wants or have the lifestyle he's looking for, then he goes, okay, yeah, I'll vote for you. Otherwise, it's a tough sell. It really is a tough sell. I think I think Keith is on the money with that completely. Gene says, why can't people see that New York State has the biggest income gap in the country and it's run exclusively by Democrats? Yes, some of you don't know. One of the biggest problems America has, we have lots of problems, but one of the biggest ones we have socially is the income gap. I know people might say, well, Larry, the poor in America are doing fine compared to X, Y, and Z country. It's not what we do. We don't look at ourselves and judge ourselves by, some other country. We judge ourselves by our peer group, by what we see, by who we're around, by Instagram and TikTok or whatever, Facebook, right? We judge ourselves by that. And that gap is hugest in New York State. And it makes people angry. And this is the part that I think Keith probably would be thinking of, but didn't actually say. Part of the reason why I want my check is because I think I deserve it. Because those rich fat cats are taking all that money. So I deserve my check. That's how people think. When they see some guy who can buy his third yacht and I'm having trouble paying my rent, I start thinking like, hey, give me my check. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm not saying it's helpful. I'm saying it's true. And when you have states that have less of a gap, you have less of a problem like that. You have less. And we want to make that income gap, that wealth gap, as small as we can get it. And it isn't by taking away from the wealthy. No, it's bringing up the poor and the middle class and the working class and making them all stronger. That's how we do it. Maybe I'm nuts. You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on Shortwave Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your calls and more of your chat after the break.
Debunking advertising from the law office of Christopher Johnson. One ad some injury attorneys inundate you with, what's your case worth? Call us and find out. Nobody can tell you, quote, what your case is worth over the phone. Nobody knows. The ultimate answer to, quote, what your case is worth involves weeks or months of research, evaluation, and preparation. Many factors go into any compensation you might get, like applicable law, who's actually at fault, how much insurance coverage there is, and many, many other factors. At the law office of Christopher Johnson, the singular focus is getting your life back on track after an accident or injury. That takes money, and it helps when the advice and legal advice you get has a one-on-one focus informed by straight talk. Christopher Johnson Attorney, car, truck, motorcycle accidents, personal injury, and DWI defense. Call 585-415-3803. 585-415-3803.
Youth for Christ Rochester is creating a safe sanctuary and a Christ culture for at-risk city kids. Our basketball programs provides a strict code of conduct, discipline, and mentoring to give our kids the boundaries they need and crave. Our God's Girls middle school program is so popular, we're now in 3 city schools and growing. Our Performing Arts Academy explores and identifies untapped gifts, all while delivering the gospel of Jesus Christ. Give a monthly or one-time gift at yscrochester.org.
We have Roger. Sharpeway Radio on the voice of liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Shortwave Radio on the voice of liberty. So happy you're giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. We have been talking about New York State. We have been talking about AOC and Mamdani. Will AOC be the future? Will Mamdani be the future? Will he be a sellout? Could be. I think we'll find that out too. Sadly, the hard way. So we'll figure that one out probably. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Roger. Roger, how are you?
Good. So, here's the thing.
You posted in the chat that we have had 18 years straight worst income inequality from Spitzer to Hochul. I had no idea it was that long, brother. That's long.
Yes, exactly. So this is why she would never win the presidency. One, super delegates. They're the ones. This is the main reason why I stopped being a Democrat. They're the ones that decide who is going to be the nominee, not
Right.
the primary voters, in case anybody didn't know that.
Good point.
Number two, betraying her primary base. You know, once she started crossing over, doing the crossover onto MSNBC and all that different type of stuff, it was just like, oh, I don't need you guys anymore. You guys that got me where I'm at, whatever. Two or three, her votes on sending weapons to Israel. So she lost that base also. So ain't no one trying to mess with her at president level. Now,
I think
she's
that's
better
an
off
interesting
running.
point you bring up, because I want to touch that piece if you could. What the Republican Party, the establishment would say, they made a mistake in 2016. The establishment would say that. They would say, wait a minute, we let Trump win. We should have had superdelegates like the Democrats had, and the Democrats got rid of Bernie that way. So he got trashed. Now the Democrats still have superdelegates. Republicans still don't. So I think your point's a valid one. Keep going. I'm sorry.
She would be better off running for Senate. However,
yes, I agree with you. Yes.
However, if she was smart, she would run for governor, because you know the power of the executive budget.
Yep.
All of those things that she said that she would like when she first came into office that she wants to do, she could put that in a budget.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. You said that, oh, there's no way you're going to get a socialist to vote for you, whatever. Larry, I'm a hardcore socialist. I'd vote for you over her.
Oh, thank you, my
Another
friend.
thing. Now, another
Thank you.
thing. You can beat her. All you got to do is say, yo, look, she was in office already. She ain't do none of that. I'm not
True.
saying that I'm going to do this. I'm not saying I'm going to do the same thing, but what I will do is I will give you the power of the citizen ballot initiative so you can decide to do it yourself. And I think you could beat any governor with that, with that line.
No, I like the point. I remember in 2018, I had a hardcore conservative who was supporting me out of Western New York. He was very conservative. He said, Larry, a lot of things that you believe that you want, I disagree with. But I know you would never force me to do it, and you let me fix it locally. And I said, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right. I would leave you alone and let you be more conservative in your own area with your own thing and do you. I would not, and I'm not forced to do anything that wasn't conservative enough for you. And he said, I don't think the others would do that. I think they would force me. I think you're right.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the power to extend power, legislative and ratification amendment power to the New Yorkers, that's a powerful thing.
And
if also
like the localism, right? You and I have talked in the past, Roger, the idea of allowing public banks at a county level, at a municipality level, at that level, allowing people to decide, look, I want my community to be this way. I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be this way. And I can go ahead, do that. In fact, if you've listened to what people are talking about, there are people now who have said, and this was recently, Fareed Zakaria said, he actually praised, this is Fareed Zakaria from CNN, he actually praised the idea that Roe v. Wade was actually overturned. Again, from CNN, he did that and said, look, the states are now figuring out the way they want to handle it, how they want to handle it, which is what I said. But now, all of a sudden, that's okay now. I think localism can work. It is a uniter.
Yes. And about that Roe v. Wade thing, to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad it's out the way, because on the left for decades, the women's rights movement has sucked up. When it came to a Supreme Court pick, they sucked up all the oxygen in the room. Like the anti-corruption people couldn't get a lick in. The civil rights people couldn't get a lick in. Labor could not get a lick in. To say why this Supreme Court justice is a bad pick, it was always the women's rights movement, and they still lost. Okay?
And the other part that's funny about that is you see now, Kathy Hochul, Queen Kathy, first of her name, worshiper of the jab, banisher of conservatives, she actually still talks about it. And in New York State, it's already codified. There's nothing you can do about it. It's done deal. And she still brings it up. This is the idea I keep talking about. They don't want any answers. They just want to yell, Republicans bad. I will protect you from, I won't do anything. I'll just protect you from the evil Republicans. That's it. In the case of Mamdani, I'll protect you from the evil socialists. You're right.
And Cuomo's saying Mamdani's bad, but I can't say what I can do because if I would have did it as governor. So I can't do it from a less powerful position.
Absolutely. Roger, thank you so much for the call, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right, you too.
So, yeah, look. So I can get at least one socialist. Yes, that's one. Now I just need like 1 million more, and I'd be set. So, yes. But I think this is a key point. It's kind of the point that Keith was bringing up also. And what I would bring up on this show, this very special Monday Sharpe Way radio show, it's one of the only shows you're going to see where you find socialists and conservatives both call in and talk. Both have opinions, both trying to make things right, both trying to fix things because they care about their state. At least you get to hear both sides without a question and no arguing, yelling, and no blood sport. It's real conversations, thinking about, assuming that everyone's talking in good faith. Even if you look at Keith or you look at Roger or you look at Craig and you go, oh, I don't agree with those guys. You're not thinking, oh, those guys are trying to harm New York. No, you might just think they're wrong. And you also might think they're right. The issue is with localism, we can actually allow people to test what they want to have in their own communities the way they want it to be. You know what will happen? You will find people move to the communities that are working right for them. How do we know that? We see as we do it for our states, you see it happening in our states. And sadly, for New York State, they're packing up and they're leaving. And they're going to Florida, and they're going to Texas, and they're going to Tennessee, and they're going to North Carolina, and they're going to other states. They're going to places that people think is better for them. They think it's the right answer for them. And that's good. It's just not good for New York. We should be looking at that and going, okay, what are they doing that we could do here that would keep people here? We should be doing that. Now, some states are trying that. Good for them. North Carolina was one of them. North Carolina has made changes when it saw people leaving the blue states and going to Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, and not going to North Carolina. And they went, wait a minute, what are we doing wrong? And they made some changes. And now North Carolina is booming. That's the issue. We need to start doing that. Why don't we have that here in New York? Why don't we have Monroe County doing something different than Wyoming County, doing different than Allegheny County, different than Brooklyn, different than Queens, different than Dutchess County? And then people go, wait a minute, which one do I want? That's localism. That's liberty. That can be the future of New York. Guys, we say thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.
Okay, talk to you next week. Thanks. You too, bye.